Good afternoon. The meeting is now called to order. This is the Public Safety Committee meeting for Monday, September the 12th, 2022. I'm the Vice Chair, Councilwoman Xanthia Oliver for the 3rd District. At this time, I will call rolls for those members of the committee first. First, it would be Loretta Walsh, who is excused with, she's excused. Councilwoman Linda Gray.
Present.
Councilwoman Chris Johnson. Councilmember James Padola.
Present.
Councilmember Albert Mills.
Present.
Council President Trippy Congo.
Here.
Okay, as a friendly reminder, only members of the committee should be making motions and seconding. Well, on tonight's agenda, it's all resolutions, so we don't have to, none of these require a vote out of committee. They're all resolutions. Okay, with that being said, do we have, this is a public safety meeting, and do we have anyone to speak on the first resolution?
Madam Vice Chair, I'm not sure if you can hear me. We're having a little difficulty hearing you. I'm not sure if you called on the police department.
Yes, I just did. Chief Tracy?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you. I just called on the police.
Okay, very good. You're coming in very low, so I believe we're going to talk about the resolutions that we had. My name's Chief Robert Tracy of the Wilmington Police Department. I have Inspector Cecilia Ash and Inspector Chuck Emery that are on this call with me. And the first resolution is to approve the police department's grant application to the United States Department of Justice Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant Program to support the city's cold case investigator and violence reduction overtime costs. This is a grant offered by the U.S. Department of Justice, the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Program. We apply for this each year and have received funding annually to support our efforts. And we're eligible for $223,454 in total grant funding, which would support the following: covering the salary of a civilian cold case investigator, which is approximately $53,740, and the other costs are covering overtime costs related to violent crime reduction efforts, approximately $169,714. The grant covers both of these functions. The salary costs are specific to the cold case unit, and the overtime is used for throughout the department.
Okay, Chief Tracy, so looks like most of this is housekeeping grants, and the police, y'all do go out and seek funding, so we don't have to, I guess, necessarily mess with our budget. But how's the cold case investigation unit coming along currently?
Okay, ma'am, and you're absolutely right. These are no matching funds are required for this. This actually complements the budgeted cold case investigator, and this would definitely having 2 cold case investigators, because we had a retirement last year, will help us with these cases and look to bring some closure to some of these cases that are over a year old, and ensure that we can bring justice and some closure to some of the victims' families.
Okay, do we have any questions from council members?
Yes.
Okay, President Congo?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thanks for joining us, Chief Tracy. For the violence reduction overtime costs, can you explain that to us a little bit in more detail, please?
Yes, in different parts of the city, we actually supplement our straight time police officers, and in some of the most challenged areas, and especially after we might have some violence by individuals and or in certain areas, we'll supplement these areas with officers to see if we can make sure that there's no post-retaliatory shooting, and also have officer presence to make sure that no further, first we try to prevent the first shooting that happens, and then we try to prevent, if one does happen, any retaliation from shootings that might occur in that area or an area where they might retaliate. To this date, we've used this for the last several years, and this type of overtime is parsed out through all police departments throughout the state of Delaware. And it's really a formula that you can apply for on making sure that state, county, and also other jurisdictions within the state get the appropriate funds. So we apply for this each and every year, and we apply it to our anti-crime violence overtime in specific areas throughout the city.
Okay, just to follow up, Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
And Chief, how long does do those funds usually last once we receive them?
These funds, and sir, if I'm leaning forward, I'm really having some audio issues and just trying to hear your question. So I believe your question was, how long do these funds last for? And these funds, they're annual that come out, and we usually exhaust them and use them, no matching funds, to help support and supplement the efforts that we're doing to reduce violence in our city. So it's annual.
Okay, do they last the entire year, or like how long throughout the year do these funds last within the department?
They usually last the entire year. We try to
Okay.
budget them, look at them, and
Okay.
Towards the end of the year, we actually exhaust them. But we try to time the amount of things that we're using, so it should last us the whole year. So we kind of make sure that as we're using it, we're looking at it every week to see exactly where we are. Can you use a little more, a little less, to make sure it can at least last the whole year.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Do we have any other council members that have any questions regarding this resolution? Okay. As I stated before, it's a resolution, so it doesn't have to be voted out committee. This will be on the agenda. What's the date? I'm sorry.
15.
Okay, this will be
Madam
on.
Vice Chair, are you going into the second resolution now? I'm
No, I
sorry.
said, I was just saying, this is going to be on the agenda September the 15th. Yes, now we're going to the second resolution.
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Do I
Did
do?
you have a question?
I'm sorry, public comment for the first one.
Oh, sure, I'm so sorry, yeah, I'm sorry, I appreciate that. Do we have anyone from the public that has any comment on this particular resolution? Is there anyone out there?
David, you gotta go over there. I work.
Okay, no public comment on this particular resolution. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to the next resolution, which is approving the police department grant application to the state of Delaware Fund to combat crime for violence reduction overtime. And I know overtime is needed, especially with the shortage of police officers. Do you have someone that would be speaking in reference to the second resolution?
It's not on. Madam Vice Chair, I will be answering this. So this grant is offered by the state of Delaware Department of Safety and Homeland Security, a fund to combat violent crime. We're eligible to apply for the funding each year and are currently eligible for $407,430.88 in grant funding for violent crime reduction efforts. These funds are eligible to cover the cost of overtime for police officers engaged in violent reduction initiatives. Most frequently involves additional proactive high visibility patrols in areas affected by violence, very similar to the one we just talked about that Council President Congo had asked about. There's no matching funds that are required.
Okay, do we have any council members? Councilwoman Gray?
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. I'd like to know how many officers were down since the new class has passed. Can you hear me, Chief Tracy?
Speak up a little bit, he said something.
I'd like to know how many officers we are still down, how many officers' positions are still open.
Yes, Councilwoman Gray. Our budgeted strength is 312. After the new class, I believe we're at 293 officers that are actually eligible for patrol at this time.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
So,
Any more questions from council members?
Great.
What's your hand up? Okay, do we have anyone from the public that has any questions regarding this resolution? Thank you. Okay, next, we're going to go to the next resolution, Chief. The resolution approving the Wilmington Police Department grant application to the Department of Safety, Homeland Security for sales or funding to be used for advanced and specialized training. Will you be speaking for this one?
Yes, I will, ma'am. So it's a resolution approving the Wilmington Police Department's grant application to the Department of Safety and Homeland Security for the SALI funds to be used for advanced and specialized training. This is a grant offered by the State of Delaware Department of Safety and Homeland Security. It's called, being SALI, meaning State Aid to Local Law Enforcement. We're eligible to apply for funding each year, and this, once again, is divvied out proportionately to all the police departments in the state of Delaware, and we're eligible for $33,763.72 in grant funding. These funds allow us to provide advanced and specialized training for our officers throughout the department, including patrol officers, investigators, and members of specialized units. Once again, this is no matching funds are required.
Okay, Chief Tracy, so this, when you say training, are we talking about maybe training for riots, maybe a standoff, or various trainings such as that, or, and also training for officers maybe to walk the beat? Is that what you're talking about, or would it be for other trainings?
No, absolutely. This is in our area of training that we think that we need. It offers the ability for executive development, also officers development. It can go from investigative skills, police officers that want to become detectives, investigative schools that have been offered to us, and also funding for certifications that we're going to need it, also for de-escalation. It can run the gamut of what's offered, and it certainly helps supplement our training budget to make sure that we can get the officers trained and have additional training for our officers as they apply for certain training above and beyond what we offer through Commission on Police Training.
Okay, Councilwoman Gray.
Thank you. Am I to understand that this training is not just tactical training, but also, as you said, administrative and, I guess, administrative training can be used with this money?
This can be used, absolutely. It could be used for, depending what type of training, for specialized units, certifications. It also can be used for administrative training on how to do job and investigations as well.
Okay, good, thank you. Well, this will help officers move up the ranks if they are provided some of this training.
Absolutely. It actually gains them greater experience. Should they have the initiative, they can apply for this through the city, not city HR, but our Wilmington Police Department Human Resources Office. They do a to from that they'd like to apply for some of these schools for some advanced training that can help them move up in the police department. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions? Okay, Chief Tracy, we will go to the next resolution approving, oh, do we have any questions for the public, from the public for this resolution? Okay, thank you. Next, we have a resolution approving the police department grant application to the state of Delaware Special Law Enforcement to assist fund to purchase training equipment and protective gear. Chief Tracy, could you speak to this resolution?
Yes, ma'am. So this resolution is approving the police department's grant application to the state of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund to upgrade and replace equipment. This is a grant offered by the state of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund, known as SLEAF. Like all other Delaware law enforcement agents, we are invited to apply for these funds each year, and we're eligible right now for $97,600 in funding. We propose to use these funds for four purposes. $14,500 will be used to purchase water rescue dry suits and accessories and an equipment trailer to support the department's marine unit operations when officers are conducting water rescues and searches. $10,000 would allow for the replacement of a trailer that is used to transport bicycles and other equipment for specialized operations. The current trailer now that we have is over 12 years old. It's in disrepair. $69,500 would be used to replace 2 unmanned aerial vehicles, including batteries, accessories, and warranties, as well as the communication headsets used by the Forensic Service Unit in connection with investigations and special events. And $3,600 would be used to purchase electronic hearing protection equipment with enhanced noise reduction capabilities for use by officers when conducting state-mandated training and firearm qualifications. This also has no matching funds that are required.
Okay, I'd like to, excuse me one second, Chief Tracy. I'd like to acknowledge Councilman Chris Johnson and Councilwoman Yolanda McCoy. They are on virtually. Could you go back to the last after the 69,000? What was the one after that? I didn't hear the rest.
That was $3,600 will be used to purchase electronic hearing protection equipment with enhanced noise reduction capabilities for the use by officers when conducting state-mandated training and firearm qualifications. They're really headsets to make sure they
Oh.
protect our eardrums.
Okay, do we have anyone, council members that have any questions regarding purchase training equipment or protective gear? Do we have any comments or questions from anyone from the public?
No public comment, Madam Chair.
Okay, next we're going to go on our final resolution regarding the Wilmington Fire Department Commencement and Academy class.
Madam Vice Chair, Chief Tracy, I think we just have one more resolution,
Which one would that be?
and that's for purchase training equipment and also protective gear. This is another sleeve.
Oh, I thought that was the one we just spoke on, I'm sorry. Oh, I skipped one. This is the fund upgrade for, I thought we took that, I'm sorry. Okay, you want to speak on that?
Absolutely, Madam Vice Chair, thank you. So this is a resolution approving the police department's grant application to the state of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund to purchase training equipment and protective gear. This is also a grant offered by the state of Delaware Special Law Enforcement Assistance Fund, known as SLEAF. Like all other Delaware enforcement agencies, we're invited to apply for funds each year, and we're eligible right now for $205,492 in funding, which is also parsed out depending on the size of your department, each department getting a certain amount of funding. We propose to use these funds for 4 purposes. $155,000 will be used to replace protective vests for members of the Crisis Management Tactical Team, which is really SWAT, to ensure the safety of the officers responding to calls involving armed, barricaded suspects, as well as hostage situations and active shooter situations. This would support the replacement of existing ballistic protective equipment that has reached the end of its life cycle. It's no longer effective. The $35,992 would allow for the purchase of 2 forensic workstations and 1 forensic laptop to support investigations that would process video and digital evidence. $10,000 would support the purchase of a portable training facility to support ongoing training for police officers. And this is really situational awareness to better train our officers for the street. This trailer includes a mock structure that can be used to facilitate a variety of trainings. And then $4,500 would allow for the purchase of 12 inflatable devices that could be deployed from land during a water rescue incident, knowing that we have the 3 rivers and we've had respective jumpers or water safety issues that both us and the fire department have been involved in. And this would greatly enhance our ability to save people should they go into the water. No matching funds are required.
Okay, Chief Tracy, would this be some equipment that could be used, like when we had the big flood over 11th Street Bridge and we were looking for some equipment to get some of the individuals out of their home? Is that what you're talking about, inflated boats or anything of that nature?
Well, I think if one of them was in distress, certainly the inflatable devices, they're really something to really hang on to before we can get the rescue boats to them. Because a lot of times it takes a little while to get these rescue boats in place. This certainly can mitigate or actually help a person in distress until we can get there safely and make sure that we can make a rescue. And from a longer deployment point from land, if we can't get into the water right away.
So that is some equipment we could use if we had another flood to help individuals get from their home.
It
I
certainly
mean, to
can
hold
help
on
us.
to until we get the proper equipment to them. Is that a yes? You can't hear me.
Sorry, ma'am, I'm trying to work off a computer. That's a yes, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. Councilwoman Gray?
Thank you. Chief, will this money bring all of the officers' vests up to match the automatic weapons on the street, or only the crisis intervention group?
Well, this is a layered approach, ma'am. The vest that, even the one I have on right now, works up to, it's on a commission of police training, works up to a certain caliber. There's certainly a caliber out there, which possibly a 50 caliber, that ordinary vest that all police departments are wearing, the officers on patrol, might not stop, but it certainly could help them. These type of vests are for the SWAT team that are going to go up against higher caliber type of policing, where they're the ones that actually come in, and as we actually secure an area, they're the ones that have to go in and really, after we shelter, place, protect everyone, they're the ones that are going to have to be up front and actually probably see more firepower or automatic weapons that certainly the normal patrol officer hopefully never encounters. And if they do, this is the team that's going to have to support us when we go in there. So these vests have better protection for them than the normal vest, only because you can see the size, and they're a little clunky and a little heavier because they basically come in after patrol to assist us. But yes, these type of vests for a crisis management and tactical team certainly can handle the higher firepower and caliber of weapons that we might come against.
Okay, but only the team is getting them. And the other question, are shields considered in this money? You know, the shields that the officers carry when they're meeting this high firepower?
No, they're not. We already have shields. The reason why we wanted to take the opportunity to go for the vests at this time is because the other vests are expiring, and it's a bit of a liability to have those vests out there. And in turn, we're trying to get ahead of it, that we don't have any outdated vests. Right now, we still have shields. Their shelf life has not come up into question at this time, or has come to their termination date. So we wanted to get the vests at this time.
Thank you.
Any more questions from council members? Any questions from the public?
Actually, Madam Chair,
Yes, sure.
thank you. I had just sent a message through the chat just before the officers leave. Just wanted to find out whether or not they could just give us a little update about or promote their night out that they're doing this month. I think they've already done one, and they're going to be doing two more. Is that possible?
Well, we can talk about that when we finish the resolutions, Councilwoman,
Okay.
right at the end, no problem. Now you said that, Chief Tracy, what do you do with the vest when you're finished and you're getting your new vest? What happens to the old vest?
I believe I'm not going to speculate on this. Where I've worked in the past, we've given them back to the manufacturer to see if they can recycle them. But if they've expended their date, it's not something you want to give to anyone else to
Okay.
use, because there might be a liability. I have in the past, in the other departments, we have given them back. I'm not sure. I'd have to get back to you on that answer, ma'am.
Okay, no problem. I didn't know if it was a recycled thing or something of that nature. Okay. Do we have any questions from the public regarding this resolution? Okay, next, we have our final resolution regarding the fire department's commencement and academy class. Would you speak here to speak for that resolution?
Yes, good evening. John Looney, Chief of the Wilmington Fire Department. With this resolution, we are currently 13 down from our authorized strength of 156. We did start the entry-level hiring process. We're currently getting ready to move into our panel interviews starting next week. Currently, as I said, we're 13 down. We're looking to have the academy up and running third week of November. We will be, as we've historically always done, we hire 5 over because of attrition throughout the year. We're currently going to be moving in with it's approximately 110 for our panel interviews, as I said, starting very soon.
Okay, do we have any questions regarding this resolution for the fire department? Okay, all of these items will be on September the 15th. Do we have anyone from the public that has any questions?
Madam Chair, I'm sorry, you probably can't see me because I'm on the Zoom.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So thank you, Chief Looney. So you said actually that you're 13 down at the moment. When was our last graduating class for the fire department?
Our last graduating class, they graduated July 19th of 2021.
Okay. And when we talk, like, understand that you do like 5 over because of attrition.
Yes.
You know, because like, how frequently are people either retiring or moving on, or is that something that we?
Yes, I mean, it's something, it's becoming more frequent right now just because of, we're slowly, I shouldn't say slowly, we're becoming a very young department, but we still have a large population that are also men and women that are, have the ability to retire their past 20 years. This is something that, obviously we're going to have to plan for to hire each year moving forward, because the trend is between 14 and 18 months, we're at that point where our authorized strength has gotten to the point where we need to commence a hiring process.
All right, Madam Chair, may I follow?
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right, so the last class in 2021, I'm under the impression that was actually a pretty diverse class. I said, would you happen to have those numbers? Because I was told, but I never got a chance to see what those numbers were.
Yes, Councilwoman, it was a very diverse class, and I will get those numbers for you. I don't have them offhand right now, but even our group moving forward in this hiring process right now is a very diverse group also.
Great. So out of the graduates that we actually had, I mean, are we, because of the attrition, I'm just curious, are we retaining the people that we are training that are getting through our academy? I just want to be certain that we're not training and losing people.
Well, that is something, we talk a lot about recruitment, and we've done a stellar job on our recruitment with our recruitment committee. However, one of the other things that we do need to start focusing on is retainment. It's a different environment now. There's a lot of other career departments around us, so that is something that we are discussing between amongst my staff. And, we're doing everything we can, to retain our employees.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. I do hope that our numbers can either, when it comes to the diversity of this class, they can either match or hopefully beat like what you were able to get accomplished last academy. So good luck, Chief Looney. I look forward to seeing what we come up with this academy.
Very good. Yes, ma'am. That is our big goal.
Is that all, Councilwoman McCoy?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Sure, we have any more questions from council members? Do we have any questions from the public? Okay, thank you, Chief Looney. Have a good day. Okay.
Do the same, everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you. Okay, once again, all these items will be on the agenda for September the 15th. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Madam Chair.
I'm sorry. Say that again. Put that myself.
No,
No.
I just want to make a comment.
Okay, I'm sorry. Did anyone want to make a comment? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Councilman Gray. I'm sorry.
I think Councilman McCoy had wanted to discuss the events the police are having, the police and fire department, and I just want to say that, I think it was, what's today? Last week, I went to the one that was at the Brown Burton Park, and it was a lot of fun. There was a lot of state agencies and a lot of nonprofits there giving out information and answering questions. And the police department had pizza for everyone. And the kids were playing ball with the policemen and, you know, running around. Everyone seemed to have a good time. It was a short time. I think it was from 4 to 6, but that was long enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman Gray. Chief Looney, would you like to talk about your events you just had?
Absolutely, Madam Vice Chair. And thank you, Councilwoman Gray. It certainly went well seeing you there, and I know we're going to be doing it in different parts of the city, and Councilwoman McCoy for allowing us putting it out to bring this up. The community resource fairs, we're going to do 3 throughout the city. One has been done last Thursday. It was done in Brown Burton, Winchester Park from 4 to 6, and it included the Wilmington Fire Department, Office of Emergency Management, United States Attorney's Office, the ATF, Delaware Department of Justice, Delaware Department of Corrections. Then it went into the group violence intervention, Delaware Crime Stoppers, St. Francis Emergency Medical Services, Christiana Care, the Department of Health and Social Services, and the Department of Services for Children, Youth, and their families, and more. And there were so many non-for-profits, and we're just going to grow off this. We're doing it 3 times. This week on September 15th, it'll be from 4 to 6 p.m., and we're doing that in Sector 2, but it's going to be in Helen Chambers Park. We've put it out through our social media. We have our things that definitely are promoting this, and it's just going to get better, and the resources that we can do together. And then the Thursday following on September 22nd from 4 to 6, we'll be in Sector 3 in Kosciuszko Park. We're going to have our 3rd one. And then we're just going to build off this and hopefully continue this down the line in each different parts of the city. And we'll welcome suggestions on how to make this even better, and doing this together with our elected officials and definitely with our council. And the invite's been put out to everyone that I can think of. And if I'm missing anyone, please let me know. And I want to make sure that we continue to do this better partnership and building trust in those communities. So thank you very much. I look forward to seeing everyone this week and next week.
Okay, Councilwoman Gray.
Chief, as a suggestion, since you asked for them, why don't you bring some of the toys out? I don't know what they're called, like the scooters that we paid for. I mean, I know it's probably an insurance thing to let the kids ride on them, but at least they can see the officers riding on it. You don't have the horses anymore. It'd be great if you could bring the horses out, but
Well, yeah, and you know what? I would love to have those horses, but I think we have a couple of things that can get their attention and interacting and footballs and playing with them. But I think it's a great idea. We'll continue to do that and make sure we have that done.
thank you.
Okay, do we have any, other comments? I'm sorry.
Madam Chair, I'm not sure if you mentioned or not, but there is a additional Public Safety Committee meeting for this Friday, which is going to be the landscape analysis report to talk about the recommendations and the next action steps.
Could you repeat that again? Thank you.
Yeah, that'll be this Friday at 5:00 p.m. Here in the committee room and or through Zoom. The landscape analysis report to discuss the recommendations as well as the next action steps.
And it's also, it's open for the public, and it's also on Zoom call.
Yes.
Thank you. That would be the 16th at 5 o'clock. And do we have any other comments for the chief? And okay, because I was going to say something.
Okay.
I was just going to tell Chief Tracy, I'm sorry I missed the event over at Price's Park. I did receive the information, but I already had a prior obligation for a wedding anniversary, and I did receive some calls that state how nice it was. So hopefully I'll be at the next one. Okay.
Madam Chair, may I?
Sure.
Okay, just wanted to actually make the proper, I think the proper pronunciation is Kosciuszko's Park. Is going to be September 22nd from 4 to 6. That's in the 6th District off of Broome Street. And basically the neighborhood people call it Rocky Park. So hopefully you'll get a chance to come on out and get some information. From what I understand, they're going to have lots of different types of resources.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Councilman.
Councilwoman, I'll call it Rocky Park because in my Bronx pronunciation, we have a bridge that goes from Brooklyn to Queens that it's different pronunciation. So my apologies. I'll have to try to get that straight. But I'll call it Rocky Park now.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
President
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just been brought to my attention some of the concerns within our police department. Again, just overall morale. There are concerns about certain officers getting overtime, concerns of favoritism, discipline, and consistency in punishment when there have been violations, and also a lack of transfer opportunities for minorities into supervisory positions. So again, I would hope that we're able to incorporate these concerns into a conversation into one of our upcoming public safety meetings. Hopefully the one in, I don't know, we can't do it Friday, but maybe the one in October.
Okay, President Congo, that is noted.
All right, thank
We can have that conversation in October about some of your concerns. And I'll talk to Chief of Staff, Marshall Bass-Knight, so we can get that on the agenda, so we can have that conversation about some of the public's concerns.
Okay, not really the public, it was the actual Wilmington police officers.
Wilmington police officer, I said
Yes.
it wrong, I'm sorry.
All right. Thank
So hopefully in October, we can have that conversation about some of the Wilmington police officers' concerns regarding some of the things you just mentioned.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Any other things you want to talk about while we have the chief or mention? Okay, anyone from the public like to make any comments? Okay, so with that being said, I'm start again. Do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, it's been properly moved in second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Thank you.